My name is Swapna Singh, and today we are going to discuss about the tablets. So, today's topic to be discussed, that is definition, advantages, disadvantages, general properties, types of tablets, and excipients. So, first topic is definition. As we know, tablet is defined as a compressed solid doses form containing medicaments with or without excipients. That means tablet is a form of solid doses form, but that is what type of solid doses form? It is compressed solid doses form, which contains medicaments or different type of medicaments with or without excipients. Okay. Second is, according to the Indian Pharmacopoeia, pharmaceutical tablets are solid, flat or biconvex dishes, unit doses form, prepared by compressing a drug or a mixture of drug with or without diluents. According to Indian Pharmacopoeia, the pharmaceutical tablets are solid. Okay, this is flat or sometimes it is biconvex dishes. It is unit doses form. Its dose is always decided, like 500 mg, like 250 mg, and it is prepared by again compressing a drug or a mixture of drugs with or without diluents. Next, according to British Pharmacopoeia, tablets are dosage form that are circular in shape with either flat or biconvex faces and prepared by compressing the medicaments or mixture of medicaments, usually with added substances. According to British Pharmacopoeia, the tablet doses form that are circular in shape, but according to Indian Pharmacopoeia, pharmaceutical tablets are solid, flat or biconvex, but according to British Pharmacopoeia, it is flat or biconvex faces and circular in shape. So this is the difference between Indian Pharmacopoeia and British Pharmacopoeia for regarding the tablets. Okay, and again it is prepared by compressing the medicaments or a mixture of medicaments, usually with added substances. So our next topic is advantages of tablet doses form. First one is they are unit doses form and offer the greatest capability of all oral doses form for the greatest dose precision and the least content variability. As we know, tablet is unit doses form. That means, for example, if you give any patient a single dose, you can prescribe 500 mg. You can easily give them 500 mg tablet. Okay, but in case of liquid or oral doses form, that is there is a dose for 1 tablespoonful, 1 teaspoonful. So sometime it sometime their content variability, but in tablet dose form, this is the advantages. For unit doses form, it is dose precision and the least content variability. Second is cost is lowest. As we all know, as compared to other oral doses form, tablet cost is lowest. Next is lighter and impact, light in weight. Next is suitable for large scale production. Next, high stability. Next, easy to handle. Next, objectionable odor and bitter taste can be masked by coating technique. As we know, every drug has its some objectionable odor and its taste is bitter, but in oral dosage form there is advantage. We can mask that objectionable odor and its taste by coating technique. Coating technique, we will discuss about it later. Okay. Next is greatest chemical and microbial stability over all oral dosage form. Tamper proof dosage form, uh, as compared to liquid dosage form, solid or tablet dosage form is tamper proof, because if you have a syrup bottle, okay, anyone can open it and mix other liquid inside, but in tablet dosage form it is not possible because it is tamper proof dosage form. Next, sustained release product is possible by anteric coating. This is only possible in tablet dosage form. Next is cheapest and easiest to package and ship. Next is disadvantages. There is some disadvantages also for tablet dosage form. First one is problem with compression to crystalline drugs. In crystalline drugs, there are two types of drugs nature. First one is crystalline, second one is amorphous. So crystalline drugs have problem with compression. Okay. Second is hygroscopic drugs are not suitable for compressed tablets. Cost of production may be increased because of coating and encapsulation to remove bitter and unpleasant taste. For taste masking we use tablet coating, which can increase the cost of production. So it is the disadvantage. Next is drugs with poor water solubility. Slow dissolution may be difficult to formulate. Next, swallowing is difficult, especially for children and ill unconscious patient. Uh, for children, this is very difficult to swallowing the tablet. Sometimes after surgery, the patient is unconscious, so you cannot prescribe or you cannot administer the tablet doses form to that patients. Okay. Next is general properties of tablet doses form. A tablet should have elegant product identity while free of defects like chips, cracks, discoloration and contamination. Next, it should have sufficient strength to withstand mechanical shock during its production, packaging, shipping and dispensing. There are different stages after the manufacturing, so the tablet which will manufacture, it should have sufficient strength to pass all these steps. Next, it should have the chemical and physical stability to maintain its physical attributes over time. The tablet must be able to release mechanical agents in a predictable and reproducible manner, must have a chemical stability over time so as not to follow alteration of the medicinal agent. Next is types of tablet. So there are 4 classes for the tablets. First one is tablet ingested orally. Second, tablets used in oral cavity. Third one is tablet administered by other route, and fourth class is tablet used to prepare solution. So in first class, that is tablet ingested orally, there are different subclasses or further classified into different classes. First one is compressed tablet, next is multiple compressed tablet, next is delayed release tablet, and fourth one is sugar coated tablets. Next class is tablet used in oral cavity. In this class, again further classified into 4 different subclasses. First one is buccal cavity, next is sublingual tablets, third one is troches or lozenges, and fourth one is dental cones. Third one is tablet administered by other route, in which implantation tablet, and second one is vaginal tablet. Fourth class is tablets used to prepare solution. For example, effervescent tablet, second is dispensing tablet, third one is hypodermic tablet, and fourth one is tablet triturates. So let's start with tablet ingested orally. In this class, first one is compressed tablet. Okay, these are the simple uncoated tablets made by compression of granules. There are 2 types of method for tablet manufacturing. First one is wet granulation and second one is dry granulation. So the granulation is a simple technique for manufacturing. So if we compress the granules, we can produce the compressed tablet or uncoated tablet. Okay, this provides rapid disintegration and drug release. For example, simple paracetamol tablet. Next is multiple compressed tablet. These tablets are prepared to separate physically and chemically incompatible ingredients or to produce repeat action of prolonged action products. The ingredients of formulation are compressed into a core tablet and the incompatible substance with other excipients are compressed over the previously compressed core tablets. Next is sustained action tablet. These tablets, when taken orally, release the medicaments in a sufficient quantity as and when required to maintain maximum effective concentration of drug in the blood. That means sustained action tablet are the tablet when you take it orally. Okay, it will release the medicament in sufficient quantity at a particular time when required. So it can produce a maximum effective concentration of the drug in the blood. Next is enteric coated tablet. Enteric coated tablet, that means these tablets are coated with the material which does not disintegrate in stomach but passes through as it is, that is enteric polymer. For example, hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose phthalate, etc. These tablets dissolve in intestine and are site specific. Enteric coated tablets are those tablets which not disintegrate in stomach but it passes through it and it disintegrates into the intestine. Entry, that means intestine. Okay, so there are some enteric polymers are used for manufacturing of enteric coated tablet, that is hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose phthalate. Okay. Next is sugar coated tablets. Sugar coated tablets are simple compressed tablet again with sugar coating. These are called sugar coated tablet. It is done to mask the bitter and unpleasant taste and odor of the medicaments. It enhances the appearance and protect the drug from atmospheric effect, that is multivitamin tablet. For example, if you have different type of drugs which have a bitter taste or unpleasant odor, you can mask it, and you can mask it or you can coat a sugar, so it will perform, so this is called sugar coated tablet. For example, multivitamin tablets. Next is film coated tablets. Both are same, film coated tablets and sugar coated tablets, but difference between sugar coated and film coated are that in sugar coated tablets we coat a sugar coating is there in sugar coated tablet, and in film coated tablet there are some polymer like hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, ethyl cellulose. These are film coated tablets. This is also compressed tablet having a film coating of polymer like hydroxypropyl cellulose, ethyl cellulose and hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. These film coated tablets are prepared to protect the formulation from atmospheric effect. They are tasteless and have increase in tablet weight and have less elegance. For example, metronidazole tablets. Next is chewable tablets. These tablets are chewed in mouth and are broken into small pieces. As we know, antacid tablet, for example, Dizin tablets, we have to chew it in mouth, and it completely broke into small pieces, small granules in mouth. So disintegration, these tablets are prepared or manufactured to reduce the disintegration time and increase the rate of absorption. Okay. Next class is oral cavity tablets. In oral cavity tablets, there are those tablets in which site of action is oral cavity. Next, in oral cavity tablets, the first subclass is buccal tablets. Buccal tablets are to be placed in buccal pouch or between the gums and lips or cheeks. Tablets dissolve and disintegrate slowly and absorb directly. Buccal tablets, simply you take the buccal tablets and placed it in a buccal pouch, okay, between the gums or lips or gums or cheeks. These tablets dissolve in buccal cavity and they are disintegrated. Its disintegration time is very slow and absorb directly to the through the skin to the blood. Okay, for example, vitamin C tablets. Next is sublingual tablets. Sublingual tablets that are placed to under the tongue. When you placed some tablet under the tongue, that is called sublingual tablet. They dissolve and disintegrate quickly and absorb directly without passing into GIT. Buccal and sublingual tablets should be formulated with blend excipients which do not stimulate salivation. For example, Vicks menthol tablets. Next is lozenges and troches. These tablets are designed to exert a local effect on mouth or throat. These are usually used in treatment of sore throat or controlled coughing. Lozenges or troches, for example, Vicks or some antitussive agents which used to treat the sore throat, okay, or controlling the coughing, that is called lozenges. These tablets are used to such drugs like anesthetics, antiseptics, antibacterial agents, demulcent. These are all the agents we usually used for such drugs. Okay, as earlier, lozenges are called pastilles. Next is dental cones. These are relatively minor compressed tablet meant for placing them in the empty socket after tooth extraction. Usually these tablets contain an antibacterial compound which is released slowly, prevent the growth of bacteria. These tablets may contain an astringent or coagulant to reduce the bleeding. The base for this type is sodium bicarbonate, sodium chloride, or it may be amines acid. These cones generally get dissolved in 20 to 40-minute time. Next is tablet administered by other route. There are some other route where we can also administer the tablet. First one is implantation tablet and second one is vaginal tablet. So first one is implantation tablet. In implantation tablets, these tablets are placed below the skin or subcutaneously. Okay, subcutaneously, that means under the skin, first layer, by means of minor surgical operation. After the surgical or minor surgical operation, we can implant that tablet inserted subcutaneously, and from there these are slowly absorbed. And but there are some criteria for implantation tablet. First one is there should be these must be sterile or made by heavy compression and fusion, for example testosterone tablets. Second one is vaginal tablets. These tablets are meant to dissolve slowly in vaginal cavity. These are avoid to pear-shaped and are used to release steroid, antibacterial and antiseptic etc. to avoid infection. For example, clotrimazole tablets. Next class, I am in fourth class, that is tablet used to prepare solution. There are some tablet after preparing the solution we will administer it. First one is effervescent tablet. In these tablets, when added in the water, produce effervescence. For example, aspirin or dispirin tablet, when we put into a glass of water, it produces effervescence. So they dissolve rapidly in water due to the chemical reaction which takes place between alkali bicarbonate and citric acid or tartaric acid. So these tablets are to be protected from atmospheric moisture during the storage. So these tablets should be stored in well closed container. For example, aspirin or dispirin tablets. Next one is dispensing tablets. These are intended to be added to a given volume of water to produce a solution of a given concentration. The medicaments given are silver protonated and quaternary ammonium compounds. These are highly toxic if taken orally, and great care must be taken in packaging and labeling. For example, enzyme tablets for like Diziplex. Next is hypodermic tablets. These are also the compressed tablets which are composed one or more drugs. These tablets are dissolved in sterile water and administered parenterally. This is simple. Next is tablet triturates. Tablet triturates is small in size, cylindrical in shape, or molded or sometimes compressed tablet which contains a potent medicament with a diluent. On small scale, hand operated, whereas for bulk production, automated machines are used. Also, the example of tablet triturate is Diziplex. Diziplex is example is dispensing tablet also, and tablet triturates both. Okay, next is your tablet ingredients. Means what type of ingredients or what type of excipient we are used to manufacturing of tablet dosage form. So what is excipient? Excipients are the substances other than the active drug substance or finished dosage form that have been appropriately evaluated for safety and are included in drug delivery systems. So other than the active drug substances or finished products, that are excipients. Okay, they are used in preparations. First one is to avoid in the processing, to aid in the processing of the drug delivery system during its manufacturing. Second is to assist in product identification. Next, to protect, support or enhance stability, bioavailability or patient acceptability. To improve solubility. Next, to improve stability. To modify drug release. There are some criteria for tablet excipient. First one is they must be non-toxic. Next, they must be commercially available in acceptable grade. They must be chemically inert. They must be color compatible. They must be physically and chemically stable. There must be no deleterious effect on the bioavailability of drug. And the last, they must be free from any unacceptable microbiologic load. So our first topic is actually, in addition of active ingredients, tablet contains a number of inert material known as additives or excipients. So different excipients are used in the manufacturing of tablet dosage form. First one is diluent, second one is binder and adhesive, third one is disintegrants, fourth one is lubricants and glidants, fifth is coloring agent, sixth one is flavoring agent, and seventh one is sweetening agent. So first one is diluents. Diluents, also known as fillers, they are used to make required bulk of the tablet when the drug dosage itself is inadequate to produce the bulk. That means There are some drugs which are viscous in nature, so it cannot flow easily from one place to another. Okay, so we use diluent, it is also known as filler, and when the drug cannot produce bulk itself, so then we use diluents. Secondary reason, it provides better tablet properties as to improve cohesion, to permit use of direct compression manufacturing, or to promote flow. There are some properties. A diluent should have following properties. First one is they must be non-toxic. Their cost must low. They must be commercially available in acceptable grade. They must be physiologically inert. They must be physically and chemically stable by themselves and in combination with the drugs. Next, they do not alter the bioavailability of drug. Next, they must be color compatible and free from all microbial contamination. So there are some examples of tablet diluents. First one is lactose anhydrous and spray dried lactose. Second is calcium sulfate dihydrate, mannitol, sorbitol, hydrolyzed starch, Amdex or Salutab. Avicel is a microcrystalline cellulose. Next is dibasic calcium phosphate dehydrate and dextrose, sucrose, three type of sucrose, sugar tab, dipac and nutab. Okay. Next is binders and adhesive. These materials are added either dry form or in wet form to form granules or into form cohesive compact for directly compressed tablet. There are three type of manufacturing of tablet dosage form. First one is dry granulation, second one is wet granulation, and third one is direct compression. So for the direct compression method for manufacturing of tablet, the binders and adhesives are used to form the granules either in dry form or wet form. Okay, next, for example of binders, that is acacia, tragacanth. If you take tragacanth, the solution, it should concentration of 10 to 25%. Next is cellulose derivative, for example methyl cellulose. Next is hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. Next is hydroxypropyl cellulose. Next is gelatin, 10 to 20% of solution, and for glucose 50% of solution, sorbitol, sodium alginate, etc. Next is disintegrants, added to a tablet formulation to facilitate its breaking or disintegration where it contact in water in the GIT. Disintegrants are the agents when the drug contact in water in the GIT. It facilitates its to breaking or disintegration. Okay. For example, starch. When you take starch for as a disintegrant, there should be tablet weight of 5 to 20%. Starch derivatives, clays, for example, VGUM, HV or bentonite 10%. Cellulose. In cellulose derivative, we can use ecdisol, that is sodium carboxymethyl cellulose, alginates, and polyvinyl pyrrolidone cross-linked. Next is super disintegrants. Super disintegrants are the agents that swell up to 10 folds within 30 seconds when contact with water. For example, cross-carbamylose, cross-linked cellulose, cross-povidone, cross-linked povidone, that is it is a polymer. Next is these cross-linked products swell up into 10 folds within 30 seconds when in contact with water. So these are the super disintegrants. A portion of disintegrant is added before the granulation and a portion before compression, which serve as glidant or lubricant. So evolution of carbon dioxide in effervescent tablet is also the one way of disintegration. Okay. Next is your lubricant and glidants. Lubricants that are intended to prevent adhesion of the tablet. Okay, the material of the surface of die and punches. When we perform manufacturing tablet punching, actually the tablet punching machine, dies and the punches, they are parts of that machine. Okay, it prevent the adhesion of tablet material to the surface of dies and punches. Reduce the interparticle friction and may improve the rate of flow of the tablet granules. For example, lubricants we can use stearic acid salt in stearic acid, magnesium stearate, talc, polyethylene glycols, and some other surfactants. Next is glidants. Glidants are intended to promote flow of granules or powder material by reducing the friction between the particles. Means glidants that are used to promote the flow of granules, the flow of powder, okay, which reduce the friction and between the particles. For example, glidants cornstarch that 5 to 10% of concentration, talc 5% concentration, colloidal silicas like carboxyl, xyloids, aerosol. Next is coloring agent. Some colors or dyes are also used in the tablet formulation for three purposes. First one is masking of off-color drugs. Second is product identification. Next is production of more elegant product. So these are three main reasons for using the coloring agent. For first one is masking of off-color drugs. Second, product identification, and third one is production of more elegant product. So all coloring agent when we used that must be approved and certified by FDA, that is Food and Drug Association. Two forms of colors are used in tablet preparation, that is FD&C and D&C dyes. For example, FD&C yellow 6, that is sunset yellow, FD&C yellow 5, that is tartrazine, FD&C green 3, that is fast green, D&C red 3, that is erythrocin, D&C red 22, that is eosin Y. Next is your flavoring agent. For chewable tablets, for example, flavor oils are used. There are some flavoring agents. Next is sweetening agents. For chewable tablets, sugar, mannitol, saccharin, that is artificial, 500 times sweeter than sucrose. There is some disadvantage of saccharin. It is bitter after taste and it is carcinogenic. So we should not use in saccharin. The next one is aspartame, that is artificial also. It also has a disadvantage, it is lack of stability in presence of moisture. So next topic we will discuss in next lecture.